Hi everyone, welcome to From Ash to Air Tarot. I just received a package today and I'm very excited to share with you another deck that I'm very passionate about that I think is absolutely fantastic. I don't do walkthroughs on a regular basis, but when I come across a deck that I really love, I feel compelled to come on and support the artist and the creator of that deck. And this is one of those decks. This came from Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's by the creator, Natasa Illincic. And I think I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm not exactly sure. Natasa Illincic. It's a Compendium of Witches, and it's an oracle deck, and it's fantastic. I did already do a video and I had technical difficulties, and so I had to do it over again. So you're missing the excitement of unwrapping it from the very beginning. But that's not even the best part, because the best part is the deck itself. It comes in this wonderful box. It has some gold gilding on it. It's very, very sturdy. You know, a typical box. It's got that rose petal finish. And, you know, I'm not one to talk too much about packaging. I think packaging is important because it adds to the excitement of receiving a deck. But obviously, to me, what's most important is seeing what the creator has come up with and their interpretation of the tarot, or their interpretation of an oracle that they've created. And that is what excites me. So let's move on right away. I did get a lot of little special additions with the deck. I got a sticker, which is the same as the back of the deck, which I think is quite beautiful. It has that sort of ancient witchy vibe, which I really, really love. You can see Natasha's handles on Facebook, Instagram, etc., etc. She also has a Patreon. I did get an extra card or two, you know, with a thank you from the creator. Just some really pretty things that I will probably add to my grimoire. The deck itself is a fantastic rendition of a book that Natasha created, an art book, which was a series of fictional witches that she created, but were heavily researched from all around the world, different walks of life, different cultures, different time periods. And what's amazing is that she kind of created these archetypes of these women, and the deck ended up becoming a representation of partially of her art book, but it also became its very own thing. And let me explain to you a little bit about it by going directly to the book. It's a wonderful little book. It's all color illustrated, so it's a great companion to have. Let me just read a little bit of the beginning so you get an idea and a feel for what the creator had in mind when she created this deck. This deck is based on a Compendium of Witches, an art book published in 2019, which features stories and portraits of fictional witches from across the world in various carefully researched historical settings. So this is historical fiction. In 2020, whilst preparing the book for its second printing, I noticed how perfectly my witches embodied specific archetypes, and so I decided to feature them in an oracle deck. The deck is designed to be accessible to everyone. Excuse me. Not only to those who have read a Compendium of Witches. Each card features a short biography of the witch in addition to the description of the card's meanings to allow for a comprehensive understanding. The deck comprises of 60 cards split in two, 30 voices, which are the cards that are depicting the witches, and 30 whispers, which are cards depicting additional symbols. Now, what she goes on to say about using the deck and different spreads that she recommends before we go into the description of each card is that the whispers part of the deck can be used as a way of aspecting the main 30 cards, which are the archetypes or the voices. And so I really love that idea. So you basically, you're using the oracle, you ask a question and you draw a card from the voices, and then you can aspect it with the whisper. So you can separate the deck. You don't have to do it that way. She says explicitly in her book that, you need to do what your reading style is, what feels comfortable for you. Another spread that she has, which I think is really cool, is she calls it like the council spread, which would be a 3-card draw of the voices. So it would be like these 3 women are the council for you. And then if you want more information or you want to go into depth, then you can aspect with the whispers. So it's a really cool little system. It's unlike anything that I've experienced before in a deck. I really love it. I will tell you that I feel like the cardstock is just amazing. It is a linen cardstock, so it reminds me a lot of, for instance, like Pagan of the Other Worlds, which is by Usi. If you've ever gotten a deck by Usi, they really use high quality cardstock. So I mean, it's just everything about this deck is exquisite. The artwork, the design, the concept, everything. Another thing that I will tell you a little bit about is I did go ahead and when I made my purchase, I ended up purchasing something else as well, because the first thing that I saw when I saw a walkthrough of this deck, and I did see a walkthrough of the deck, I saw Truth and Story do a walkthrough. I didn't watch the whole thing because I wanted to be surprised, but when I first started to see some of the cards, I got so excited that I went off right away and I went on my computer to see where I could get my hands on the deck. But I saw this card of Hecate or Hecate, however you choose to pronounce the goddess's name. But I thought that this was absolutely amazing. And actually this came with my purchase. It's like a bookmark that came with the deck. And I absolutely loved it. But when I was ordering the deck, I was looking through Natasha's offerings, and I happened to come across that she had all sorts of things on her site. Like she has stickers, she has I believe a calendar, she also has obviously her artwork, but then she also had these bookmarks, which were fantastic. And I want to show you, because I ended up ordering the bookmarks as well. So these are her goddess bookmarks. And one of them is another beautiful picture of Hecate, which is this one. And then the other goddesses here represent, hold on, because I want to read to you the rendition of the bookmarks here. Hold on one second. Of course, when I'm online. So the bookmarks, these bookmarks all have these poems or hymns, Orphic hymns to be exact, that were written by Thomas Taylor, a British Neoplatonist classicist. And each one represents a different thing. So for instance, this particular one is a bookmark portraying healer. And I'm going to attempt to read this, but I have my glasses on, guys, so bear with me. O much desired, prolific general queen, hear me, life-bearing, health of beauteous mien, mother of all, by thee diseases dire, of bliss destructive, from our life retire. And every house is flourishing and fair, if with rejoicing aspect thou art there. Each daredevil art thy vigorous force inspires, and all the world thy helping hand desires. So I just thought this is really cool. And in addition, she has the Goddess Bookmark of Earth. I got them as a set, but you can order them individually as well. And there's the hymn there at the bottom. I won't read all of them because I know we want to get to the cards themselves. And so we had health and earth. And I believe the last one is, let's see, where is it? Where is it? And this last one here represents nature. And I just thought they were really cool. So I threw that in with my order. I just love her artwork so much. Anyway, so let's move on to the cards themselves. We'll do a walkthrough. What I'll do is I'm going to do each 30 separately so that you can see the voices and then the whispers. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can get a better look here. Let's see here. And then we'll do a little draw, talk about maybe the reading of the card that we pull so you get an idea of how the book accompanies the deck. And here we go. There you have it. Those are the 30 voices. Now let's move on to the 30 whispers. And those are the 30 whispers. So I'm going to leave the deck separated for right now, because what I'd like to do is do a reading based on how Natasha suggests using the deck. I'm not a big riffle shuffler, folks. I know that there are some people who absolutely love to riffle shuffle, but and I'm sure that riffle shuffling with this deck would be quite safe because they are made of linen, so they spring back into place quite nicely. But the reason why I'm not a big fan of riffle shuffling with my tarot decks is because not all the cardstock is the same. And sometimes you do, over time, wear the deck down by doing that kind of a shuffle and bending the cards. And I don't always have the funds to get double decks of things that I really love, so that I have the deck that I don't use and a deck that I do use as a backup. But that's my explanation. But I'm sure they shuffle beautifully because the cardstock is fantastic. So we're going to draw a card of one of the voices, and we have Explorer. And then we're going to draw one of the whispers to Aspect. I'm going to go with, this one is speaking to me. Familiar. Beautiful. So let's look it up in the book. So in the book, the table of contents is in the back, which is a little unusual, but I discovered that this morning when I was trying to find the cards, and then I realized, oh, there's the table of contents. So we're looking for the Explorer, which according here is on page 46. Wanderer, Wanderlust, Identity, Self-Discovery, Voyage. When the rain starts to fall, she doesn't feel the need to seek shelter. Mesmerized, she watches the sooty clouds gather around the majestic mountains surrounding the monastery. Thunder roars deep and guttural, sparking a sense of excitement in her. Emboldened by a sense of adventure, the explorer embodies our own voyage into self-discovery and the awareness that new aspects of ourselves can be found outside the boundaries of the comforts we are used to. One only needs to set foot outside the door and make space for new growth. Aurini Hort was born in Wellington from a Jewish Englishman and a Christian housewife of Maori descent. She never found her place in the cradle of those communities and spent her life traveling instead. Her explorations took her to the wildest corners of the world, which fostered within her the sense of not belonging to one place, but to the world as a whole. Isn't that fabulous? So, Aurini Hort is a fictional character, but she's based on an amalgamation of other women in history during that time period. So if you were to draw this card, right, the wisdom is telling you to explore, to go out there, to find who and what you are. What is your identity? What are you longing to do? And then to aspect the card, we have the Familiar. And let's see, where is the Familiar? 66. Help, bond, advice. So if I were reading this, I would say to my client that, or to whomever, myself, that there's a part of me that needs to answer a call of wanderlust, to go out and explore myself and to find answers to questions that I may have. The good news is that I have support for this. There is either someone, something, or there will be someone or something that I will encounter that will be my guide or be with me on that path of self-discovery. So that would be my interpretation of the reading. And like I said, you don't have to use the deck this way. You can use it in however you want. You can mix all the cards together and do it in a traditional draw of an oracle like you would for any oracle deck. Or you can do the council spread that she recommends in the book. But in any event, this little oracle has got so much class. And I'm just so impressed with it. There is a uniqueness to it. Even though it's a female-centric deck, I feel like it's very inclusive because we're exploring all different cultures, different generations, time periods. It's just for those of us out there who, follow the witchy path. This just ticks all the boxes in terms of opening up a whole lineage and ancestry of women who have practiced the craft and discovered, the power, the empowerment of themselves. The artwork is beautiful. It's got nature. Just look at these cards. They're just fantastic. So I really don't know what else to say to tell you how much I love it, but I really love it. And if there's a special independent deck that you'd like to get this holiday season, I highly recommend a Compendium of Witches Oracle. I think it would be a fantastic addition to your collection. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with you again next time.